We're live.
In a world of divisiveness, we bring you diversity. In a world of hate, we bring you love. In a world of fear, we inspire you to live. And now, laughing, loving, and alive with your hosts Rain Thomas, Elmer J. Howard, and Dr. Kevin.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Steven Spielberg.
I like that. I don't know. I can't beat that one. I am Maya Angelou. Let's just take it there.
You've been here before.
I have?
Yep.
Okay. I am, you're gonna love this one. I am now I can't think of the guy's name. Go, Dr. Kevin.
I'm Guinness.
Oh, I love a good stout.
And
A good stout. That's me. I'm good and stout.
I have some entertainment-related news. I'm sure you probably heard of one of these things. We've had two major deaths in the last 2 days. Sidney Poitier yesterday and
Bob Saget.
Thank you, Bob Saget
Yep.
today.
Yeah, that's terrible. Betty White and
Yeah.
what's his name?
Cindy Poitier.
No, the football guy.
Oh,
John,
yeah, he did all the
the games
Madden.
and all that. Yes,
It's
John
Madden.
Madden.
Yep.
Yeah. Very
Yep.
sad week, huh?
quite a rough start to 2022.
Yeah, I know. I definitely was feeling the whole Betty thing because, she was doing the 17 days out, to her 100th birthday. I wonder if they're just going to turn that, because they were selling tickets and everything to it. So I don't know if they're going to do a memorial or some big thing for her. But yeah, she was quite the trailblazer. That's for sure.
Well, so was Sidney Poitier. We're not talking about people who died at like 40. These people were going, they were getting ready to try to be 1,000 years old.
Well,
He was 94.
Bob Saget was only 65.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a baby. I don't know last time I checked, it was a developing story. So
Well, they said no foul play, no drugs. So my guess at that point is probably a heart attack.
Wow.
yeah.
Which is
Anyway,
what are sure. Okay, so today I'm Dr. Kevorkian.
you be Dr. Kevorkian, I'll be Guinness, and I don't know, you were somebody.
He was Steven Spielberg.
He looks more like E.T. to me.
You all hash that out off stage. The girls and I back here, we're just taking stride.
So we decided that we were going to do our first show of 2022, just the three of us. So we have no guests. We have no comments. So I wonder if we not yet. So we'll see. People can weigh in. You're getting slammed because you're the one that usually gets most of the stuff, Rain.
I usually get these weird phone calls because obviously people can call you from Instagram, as Elmer knows. He's like, "Did you pick up?" I'm like, "Elmer, are you nuts? No, I didn't pick up. I don't know that person."
I've never had anyone try to call me from Instagram.
Yeah, it's like, you click a button and they can call through it. They can't see your telephone number, but it rings. Just like, was that Facebook Messenger? People can call you through Facebook Messenger. They can, I've had people where it pops up and it says, so-and-so wants to video chat with you. I'm like, I don't know this person from anybody. Block.
Yeah. Yep. I don't want to see what could pop up on that screen. I have delicate eyes.
No, I'm a weirdo magnet, so I definitely am not interested.
So I thought that this would be, the new year and all of this. We've done one of these shows before, and I came in with a bunch of questions, and I decided that I was going to do some very specific questions this time. Not a general from a list. I created all these questions myself. It's a way for for our audience to get to know us better, and it's a way for us to get to know each other better. So
Ooh.
uh, I figured we would start and do a quick round of catch up to see, whatever mustard be shared from us. I relish to hear whatever you little weenies have to say, and then we can
I
move to
knew this was
questions.
coming.
Ah! So, Elmer, when you're not being Steven Spielberg, what's going on in your life these days, Bubba?
I'm into my 11th hour on set today, doing the production accounting for a movie. So they've been really long days. Usually it's 12-hour days, but I'm kind of like flat rate salary, so I'm just here until the job gets done. And some days it's 13, 14, 15 hours. But I mean, I'm still having fun, learning a lot because I told my line producer, who's my friend, she's technically my boss, Tammy, that I said, I've always seen the other side of the set, which I've only briefly saw on this film, but I've seen I'm always on set, as a director and producer, or even when I was doing craft services, we were, more on set. This is the first time I've seen the production side of a larger production, and it's a madhouse here as well. It's like, there's I have my own office. It's why I'm able to do this here because I have my own office. My boss is next door, and she's like, Tammy, she's like, next time we need to get a door right here because she and I talk a lot. So, but there's costumes, makeup, wardrobe, UPMs across the way, the first ADs over there, but there's interns coming in and out. I've had an intern for a few days to help me out. But yeah, it's just so learning the other side, the production side of the movie business, and it's I've done my own little stuff, but I haven't seen this side of the large stuff, so it's kind of cool.
Hi, Donna. Happy New Year. What is she doing up? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning in Nova Scotia.
No, Nova Scotia's
on the East Coast, so
it's 11. It's 11
10.
o'clock.
No, it's 11.
11.
She's Atlantic time.
Oh, one more over.
Yeah, she's a 1 hour.
And trust me, I know because I've made that plane ride a lot.
Miss Rain, what is tell? How are you? How have you been since the holidays? What's going on with you? You have all sorts of things popping up. You've got commercials, you've got movies, you've got the boas, you've got big plans for 2022.
I thought you were going to say big tatas for 2022. I was like, okay, I'll take it. Yeah, I have big plans for 2022. It's been it's the best holiday I've ever had in my entire life. And I mean that abundantly, and being able to clear out a lot of stuff that, you keep dragging from year to year to year. And it's just like, you know what? Not dragging that mess anymore. The family mess, none of it. And these last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of meditation, going to Tibetan gong classes and relaxation classes, and getting my head really in the game. I was in a yoga class the other night. It was a Kundalini yoga meditation class, and it was intense. And it was the first class of the year. And he said something that I've seen in the Bible my whole life. And, I've seen lots of places, but, sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. And he was talking about all the stuff that you go through. And he said, you need to be rooted like a tree at the side of a riverbank. Stuff has to go around you. You can't keep moving and dodging. So you stay planted, and that stuff will go around you. You will work it through, which again, like Roger said, spiritually pliable. So I took that in. It's been a great week outside of this sinus headache that I've had for 24 hours. That's just driving me nuts. But it's been great. Lots of good stuff coming. I have my friend drag me into 2022 miles for 2022 run. Matt, what is that called? A good marathon? You're running. All of us, it's like 4 or 5 of us. And together we need to come up with 2022 miles. And she and I did it together in 2018, and we knocked it out. So
there you go.
So I'm ready, I think.
You are ready.
Dr. Kevin,
Yes.
tell us about your holiday until today. How is it treating you?
So, you know, the last time we talked was what, the 26th?
6.
So it was right after Christmas.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't remember whether I got a chance to talk about the goal setting I did on Yule. Did I talk about that?
I think you kind of went right a little bit past it. We didn't get a whole lot of details.
So, it's very interesting because every year Jeff and his mother and I do Yule as kind of look where we've been, what are our goals. We drew oracle cards, we drew tarot cards, we did readings, and we do a whole ritual thing on Yule on the 21st. And in 2019, I made all of these goals and I did all of this stuff and I knocked it out of the park. And in 2020, I did all of these goals and I knocked it out of the park. And in 2021, I think I gave myself a B minus. I didn't get some stuff done I wanted to get done, but I did get a fair amount. And I have goals in each category and spreadsheets. I mean, this is how I work. So for this one going into 2022, I was very much like, got quiet and said, okay, so what are my goals for 2022? I missed some of my 2021 goals, but I understand why. I wasn't beating myself up. Goals should always have some flexibility and you have to look at things. And what I came.
Kevin, is that you, Kevin? That was super loud. That hurt my ears. Sounded like a Facebook messenger.
Well, I'm going to close Facebook and you'll never guess from who.
Well, I just got one, so I can.
Yeah. Well, if you want to respond, if you don't know we're on a show by now, you shouldn't. You should, and since you don't, go away. We're gonna both get you.
No, I just don't respond for a while.
So, anyways, when I got quiet, and I said, okay, so what are my goals? So, my mother-in-law's writing, Jeff's writing, stuff like this, and I just kept on hearing, be and become, be and become, be and become. That's my goals for 2022. Be and become. I got that I wasn't supposed to set any goals, that 2022 is just about being and becoming, and that this is what I got to do, and I just got to hang in it. I'm not going to pretend that that's terribly comfortable for me because I like having my goals. Even if I don't make them, I like having them. I like having some stuff to like build things around. This was like no goals this year. Just be and see what you become and keep track of it. And that's the whole thing.
I love it.
So I did that. And in fact, I had a good friend that was over today and we were hanging out and we were catching up and and I said, I'm finding this shift in my energies and I'm doing, not record numbers of clients. I'm doing 20, 25, some weeks 30, 32, a good amount. I mean, to have a practice, that's really full time for a practice. And I'm like, I said, in any given day, if I have an extra client show up, I'm thrilled. I'm like, emergency clients, I'm fine. I did one on Saturday. But to sit down and to focus on a project, big old booyah. I can't get my app out. I can't get the last pages rewritten that I need to rewrite so that everybody else can do their job. I barely got my science fiction book out. It just got released. X equals conspiracy is now on the market for sale. But I sit down and I approach the keyboard and I hit 10 or 12 keys and go, this is painful. I need a walk. I need a drink. I need a life. I need an emergency client. I'd be very happy.
Anything but that, huh?
Yeah. Like I have so many, and we bought the business. We talked about we announced. Did we announce it? We hadn't announced yet because it hadn't been out. So Elmer and I bought a business together.
No, this is new for me. That's why I've got to come see you guys, see what you're doing behind my back.
Yep. Yeah, we bought a business called New Hampshire Metaphysical, which is 9 years old. It is a spiritual marketing event company that promotes classes, does psychic fairs, psychic message circles, does it all on the internet now. For 8 years, it was brick and mortar. It switched over to for the pandemic. The woman had decided she was done. It's only had one owner, and she approached me because she wanted me to buy it. I asked Elmer if he wanted to do it with me. We brought on the staff person that's been working for me part time that used to work for me full time, Mindy, to do. I call her the office goddess to do stuff. Um, and so we're ramping up with another business under.
Good.
So, yeah, but and I get everything done that I have to get done, but there's my energy. I'm not. I At first I thought it was like I was going. I want my energy back. I don't feel like I have my energy. I feel like my energy is down, but it's not down to do clients. It's not down to do 8 or 10 or 12 miles of hiking through the woods or walking or whatever. It's not down for that. It's not down for my house projects. Anything to do with my mind, like any projects. Just the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind, and I can't run fast enough to catch it.
Thank you, Bob Dylan.
Ah,
And I get that because, I told you I'm just getting grounded. And it's interesting because after I did that Kundalini yoga and, where you're chanting and, get the toxins out and stay rooted. And the next morning I woke up and I had cysts in my eyes. And then, yeah, once I put like warm compresses on them, they were gone. But then last night I took another healing class and it was like this headache is the thing. It's purging something.
mhm.
And I'm just like, sit still and let it do what it's doing. Maybe I'm not supposed to do anything today. And that's what I did. Because, you get up, you get running, and before you know it, you've done 1,000 things all day except rest. And I'm one of those people, rest comes at the end. And I said this year, rest is going to come at the beginning. And I think my body is saying, yeah, we're going to hold you to that.
Yep,
So here I am.
there we go. So, you guys ready for the questions?
Yeah, Elmer, you ready for the questions?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah.
Excitement. Gusto.
So, I wrote 3 questions for each of the categories. I have questions for laughing, questions for loving, and questions for alive. So, I think what I'm going to do is because I don't know if we'll get to all of them. It depends on how long our answers are. So I think I will do one question from each category and then do a second question from each category. So just in case we run out of time.
Okay, let's do this, Alex Trebek.
There we go. For laughing, so I'll start with you, Ray. When you need a good laugh, what do you do? When you need a
Yeah,
good laugh, what do you do?
that's a very good question because there's so many different ways I get laughter. It depends on who I call and depends on where I'm at. If I'm home by myself, I might pull up some of my favorite comedians and listen to them. Jim Gaffigan is one of my favorites. He's so funny to me, and it's clean humor and it's logical humor. If I'm out and about, just people watching, that sometimes will give me the laugh I need. And if I'm with my husband, sometimes I'm laughing by myself, but the fact that I'm laughing and he's not laughing just makes it even funnier. Those are all of my yeah, it's like, okay, that person's a lunatic, right? So those are my laugh touch points.
Elmer, when you need a good laugh, what do you do?
Either watch a funny show, or hang out with some people. There are people that can make me laugh, and sometimes I don't have to even go looking for it. Nicholas, that I've talked about before, the 12-year-old, he loves to send me funny videos and TikToks and whatnot. So there's times that I'll just get them randomly throughout the day, which is always a nice little thing to make you laugh and feel better.
Nothing like a 12-year-old to remind you that it's not that serious.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I play. Be silly. My preference is if I need a good laugh, if I can find myself some kids to play and be silly with. If not, I have my cats, and as my last choice, I'll find like other people.
Isn't
But
that what Michael Jackson did?
yeah,
I'm just saying it. Don't send me any hate mail. I'm not interested. Don't call me on Instagram. Hey, you talking
Yeah.
about Michael Jackson? Yeah. I loved Michael Jackson.
yeah. I was yeah, but to me, I'm like, if I need a good laugh, I just get silly, and and I can get silly with the cats. I love getting silly with kids because they'll get silly with you,
Hmm.
and then there are a few people that you can get silly with. So it's like, okay,
A good show to watch to get silly with is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh yeah, that's a
yep,
great silly show.
yep, yep,
Back from even when it was in black and white.
yeah,
That's a really good show. It's clean and it's funny and it's really, really silly.
Yeah.
yeah. There's some stuff like if I was gonna like jump on, I'd watch like the old Match Games or some.
Oh yeah.
Those are great. Um, yeah, there's definitely some things,
It's
but
funny you mentioned Match Games because when I go back to the Airbnb, I don't have much time to do anything. But while I'm settling in and getting ready to fall asleep, I like to have the TV on. And so I want something on. Not a movie or TV serial I want to get involved with and then end up staying up and trying to watch. So I've been watching Buzzer on Sling TV because that's what they have at the Airbnb is Sling, is Roku, I think. But anyway, Buzzer, it runs all the old Match Games, Supermarket Sweep, and what they're doing yesterday. I don't know if they're doing it today. I thought they were doing it 2 days. They're doing a Betty White tribute because Betty White
Oh
was on a
wow.
lot of those shows.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
So
she even
I'm,
had her
I'm
own game show.
so I'm getting to see the shows and on Match Game. Betty White on last night. She was one of the guests. She switched places for one of the questions. She got up to answer the question and had the host sit down in her spot.
I love it. Those games were fun because you could tell people genuinely liked being there. Password
Yeah, that's another one that's on this station.
Hollywood
and
Squares.
Yeah.
that's
Oh
an
my,
oldie.
oh yeah, Charlie Weaver and Paul Lind and
Did you know? I don't know which era, maybe the '60s, but the Match Game earlier this week. It hasn't been on the last few nights, but they would start the Match Game with the host of the Match Game there and the host of the Tic Tac Toe one as
Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares as one of the panelists. Do the whole show and then switch and turn it into Hollywood Squares. All the
No, I
same
didn't know that.
people, and the winner would go on to the next game.
That doesn't surprise me because you saw the same people on like
All the
everything,
show, right?
like everything. And if you look at those
Rosemary,
sitcoms, that too.
Charles,
Charles Nelson Riley,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
loved him. He is
Brett
so
Summers.
funny.
and they
So funny.
yeah,
Richard Dawson.
Dawson, yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's move to the next question. Loving. I'll start with you, Elmer, on this one. What is the most loving thing that has ever been done for you? What is the most loving thing that's ever been done for you? I'm thinking about keeping some of these questions in to throw at our guests sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
The I would have to. I don't know if I can pick one. I mean, I've had over the years many people do many surprisingly loving things. I think recently what I feel is really, really great for loving, supporting is the people who invest in the films. My personal friends who, before we get going, are willing to, yep, here's, I've had people invest in the shorts, and now we're doing this feature, and I've already had people invest money to help me get the attorney paid off so that we can get real, get big time investors that we don't know personally. So, but going back to Maria threw me a 70s birthday party. And the most loving thing, that was nice, but the loving thing about that was everyone got together and all pitched in for one gift, but then they all made these their gifts were all crypto symbols, and it was a puzzle, and I had to figure out the cryptology to figure out what the gift was, and it was they had bought me my ticket to go to Costa Rica.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's very nice.
So that was nice. I've always had friends support me throughout. When you need money financially, to me that's always loving when it's like, no, here, let me make sure you're safe and fed and whatnot. And so yeah, I don't know if it's just one thing I can choose. I guess when you're as needy as me, you get a lot of those.
I love the honesty on this show. There's no shame. That's the one. Shameless.
Shameless.
Well, for me, I mean, you guys know, you see it. It's way too many for me to even think about. I mean, I get these random gifts too. I really love Morse code. I mean, how old can you be to love Morse code, right? It was even before me. And I got this random piece of jewelry for Christmas, and it's in Morse code, and it came with a Morse code booklet, so I'd know what it would say. I don't know if I can see that.
Yep.
Right there. And It said unbiological sister. And it had this really nice note and it was wrapped beautifully. I have no idea who it's from. I've asked 15 people that I thought could possibly be it. They were like, definitely not me. But over the years, I had a lot of people who helped me in all these weird situations. Because, when you're an entertainer, you're all over the place. One of the biggest ones was, Doc and Cherie, who were brother and sister, who had only known me a couple of months, taking me into their house while I got my treatments done in Arizona and not charging me a dime. And, he's cooking every night and, they're just make yourself comfortable. And if I wanted to sleep or if I wanted to do something, they do it with me. And, they have a beautiful, beautiful home and outside. And I think that was really part of having a speedy healing. We never talked about the treatment unless I brought it up. Because, that's the one thing, you have people who call you can hear the trepidation in their voice on the phone. They're like, just get to it. What do you want to know? How am I doing? Right? I'm doing fine. Are you sure you're doing fine? It's not helping me. They never brought it up. They never said, how was the doctor today? Because, I was going to the doctor every day, 45 rounds of radiation and blood work and whatnot. Never brought it up. And before I knew it, that time had passed. Like I missed being there because it was so therapeutic. Running, going out and running with me and taking me to get plants and bringing all these healing flowers. And it was just great. Great.
And before we go on, I would be remiss if I didn't mention most recently, Andy taking me in for 2.5 years rent free so I can get back on my feet.
Oh, yeah.
Moving back to Maine and whatnot.
Does Andy want to move in with us and pay our mortgage? I'm happy to have Randy. Andy, come on. It doesn't have to be 2 years. 6 months. Beggar, not choosy.
Well, I've had a lot of loving things done through the years, but I decided I would just get quiet and try to focus on one. I mean, because I have had a lot of loving things that have happened through the years, including, this was not the one that I had chosen, but when Almar said that, when Tim and Elizabeth took me in when I got back from England after I'd been in England and I wasn't sure where I was going or whatever, and they let me stay with them for months. And I could have stayed as long as I wanted. I mean, I only moved because Jeff and I moved in together. But, knowing that you have those people, like right in Phoenix, Anne took Tommy and I in for 3 months and let us stay with her, never questioned, So, I mean, I've got a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of stories as well. But I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to come up with one for each category. And when I got quiet, the one that came up to me was I had a friend, and it was right after I had had my heart virus, and it was scary because I didn't know if I was ever going to get my energy back. It felt so far away. The doctors weren't really all of that optimistic. It was my own stubbornness and going into alternatives that got me back on my feet as far as I could. But this, but this friend, she just came over, just looked at me, just crawled in bed, just hugged me, and just let me cry it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And just was like, I know you're scared. I know you're scared. And for some reason, when I thought of that, that's what came to me, was that just that moment of, I didn't ask her to, I didn't, she just came in, she took one look, and she just crawled into bed. And she's like, let it go.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes that's just the most loving thing you can do for someone. And it's really interesting because I want to comment on something you said, Rain, which is, I was recently talking to a client of mine, and they have a parent that is in final stages, of what's a terminal illness. And, and she was talking to me, and she was talking to me, about, wanting to value the time left with her father and stuff like this. And I said, and one of the things I told her, I said, stop asking him every time you speak to him how he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Stop asking. Normalize it. Talk about other things.
Right.
He knows you're dying. You know he's dying. And because she said, I asked him how he's doing. He's always like, well, it's not that great. It's pain. And I said, stop it. And
because it's never going to change.
It's not going to change. It's not going to change. So sometimes the most loving thing you can do is treat somebody who is in struggle like, okay, we both get your in struggle. Let's talk about something else, because that can be so good.
I recently, as Kevin knows, I recently did that for a 15-year-old. He was the brother of the one who passed that I told you about, Rain, and I think the audience members. So when we got to the calling, I said hi to everyone. I went in and said hi to the family, and I came out, and he was sitting in. There was an entry in the hallway, and then the calling over here, and there's a nice little room that had like waters and whatnot, tables and chairs, and a couple nice seats. And he was just sitting there, and I went over, sat down, never asked him, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you holding up? I was just like, so what you doing in school? And for 3 hours, we just sat there and chatted, and yeah, it really helped. His parents after the next day came up and were like, thank you for taking care of him during the, yesterday, and because I have been there, so I knew like sometimes you just need the let's talk about something else. So video games, movies, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to move on so we can make sure we get through a few of these questions.
Well, they're good questions.
Doing so good.
They're good questions.
Yeah, they are good questions. Thank you.
You can't just say yes, no, and move on.
No. I'm not asking anyone to say yes, no. I was just getting ready to jump in with another story, and I was like, no. I'm gonna move on to another question instead of another story. So that was for me. I wasn't trying to limit either one of you. Name a time in your life when you felt most alive. A time that stands out, just something that comes to your head when you really was like, I'm alive.
Oh, for me, that would just been this past holiday season. That's easy. That's the most alive and the happiest I've ever been in my existence.
Why?
Because finally things looked like they were falling into place. I had a chance to be myself. I had a chance, like I said, it was a very abundant holiday season. I had a chance to stop for a minute, take a breather, and say, I deserve this. And I've never said that before in my life because, everything and everybody else always comes first. You get that done and get this bill done and call this client and call that. And you never get a chance to just get in tune with who you are. And I did that. I sat in front of the fire endlessly for days, just sitting there reading books. I knocked out like 5 books in 3 days. And one of my friends, I asked her to send me Don Quixote in Spanish because I'm translating that into English, which I did in college. I don't know how I had that time. And just getting back to what I love.
Hello.
There's Steven Spielberg giving us the blow.
Yeah, he's got something else going on. Well, I think that's great. I mean, I wanted you to share what made it most alive, because I think a lot of times, especially because I think it's great that it's just right now, like now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really great because for a lot of people, it's been a hard couple of years.
Yeah. And usually when it's easy for everybody else, I'm the one tangled in all of this nonsense. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. How do we fix this? What is that? What is this? And it's just all falling right into place where I can just sit and be at peace. And that was important to me.
Elmer, name a time in your life when you felt most alive. A time, an incident, something.
The thing that pops in my head, and the last time I felt this way was when I was directing Kings and Queens. So, being on set as the director, it's just this feeling, I feel at peace, I feel happy. It's just a lot of things that makes me really feel alive.
When I got quiet, because I answered all these questions ahead of time.
Of course you did.
You cheated.
Usually I don't. Usually I just wing it with it. But I was like, I want to keep it going, so I'll actually answer the questions. Questions answered. So when I thought back about it, I kept on going to different things, and I said I had different things showing up in my head. Sometimes it was with my husband or with one of my exes or with one of my close friends. But I looked and I was like, there's a theme here of when I feel most alive. And what I realized was it's being in nature alone with somebody that I feel really connected to, that I love, whether it's a lover or a friend. And we're just being together. And I was thinking of midnight at the hot springs and watching the moon come up, but it was being in nature and the person I was with. It was ziplining. It was this. It was that little stream in Costa Rica and hiking. But all of it was a combination of just me, somebody I cared about, and just breathtaking nature. And that just makes me go whoosh.
I love it.
Yep. And in fact, I'm not going to now because I want to get to these other questions. I actually dug out a poem I wrote once called Spiritus Loci, which I was going to share, but I'm going to pass because I want to get some of these other good questions asked.
You're just trying to dig out all the dirt from us. I love it.
Well, here is a good question. So what movie is guaranteed to make you happy? We're back to laughing. What movie do you watch that's guaranteed to make you happy? Like it's your go-to if you're feeling down or whatever. What is that movie? And I'm going to give you up to 3, but more than 3, I'm going to cut you off.
I'm not a television movie person, so I can't tell you. I can't even. I think the one, and it's only because if my husband has television on and it happens to be on, I've seen The Mummy like 1 billion times.
So even though you act and you perform, you don't ever watch movies like the theater.
They bore me. No, they bore me. I even as a kid, I didn't like going. And everybody did. I liked going with people and being around people. But I can tell you, if you went to the movies with me, we watched something, and you have people get out and they're like, "Oh, remember that part?" I have no idea what they're talking about. Like I sit there and I daydream And I've seen some movies hundreds of times, like Scarface, which is one of my favorites because it was back in the day. And even now, I can watch it, and there are things I don't remember at all. Or Brian will say, "Remember that part?" I'm like, I have no clue. Like, I just don't have that attention span for movies. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. That is
Yeah,
weird. But now I just learned something new about you, and that's what this
yeah,
whole thing is about.
yeah.
So I'm going to move this on to Elmer, but I'm going to say, what book would you pick up to read that you know will guaranteedly always make you happy?
Anything by May Sarton, and she's actually from Maine
I have a book
and
by May
Hampshire.
Sarton.
I have her whole collection.
Okay,
She was a
cool.
pioneer, and she was a pioneer before women wrote in those genres, and before women said, "I don't care if you don't like my book, you can stuff it," And she's like, they got on her because they were like, her books are all lesbianism, and she's like, if you're ignorant enough to believe that, that's you. And I just love everything she's done, all of her journals, her poetry, her stories. I just finished A Reckoning, which was amazing. And that always puts things back in perspective that you can get it done no matter what the masses are saying to you or about you.
Yep. Elmer.
And I'm sorry I missed part of Rain's. Tomorrow's payday, and I'm behind, and so people sending me emails, I have to respond to them. The movie, and I don't know if it's being really happy, but
And
I
don't
like
say
to.
Loving Martin.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
it's actually the Harry Potter series. I don't know. I just
Mm-hmm.
really like watching them. I could watch them over and over and over again. So I guess that was the one that popped in my head. It's like, oh, I guess the one, because a lot of times I don't go back to movies because it's like I've seen it, been there, done that. I don't know if I want to do it again. Not that it's bad, but
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I will see. I mean, sometimes I do. If I see a good movie, I've done it with Kevin and Jeff. I saw a great movie and mentioned to them, and they're like, "Oh, I'd like to watch that." I'm like, yeah, let's watch it again. Now, Love Simon was one of them.
Yep.
So, the but Harry Potter is the one that popped up, and books I don't read, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Scripts.
Well, book was just for Rain because you didn't
Oh,
watch.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question was about movie. Well, you remember I mentioned that I did on Christmas. Jeff and I just watched gay-themed Christmas love stories
Mm-hmm.
movies, and then on New Year, was it New Year's Day, or I think it was New Year's Day, but somewhere on New Year's Eve weekend, Jeff had to go somewhere, and I was like doing Christmas decorations, like taking down the tree and stuff like this, and I just watched gay love stories all day while I was doing stuff around the house. I carried around my iPad and just had a movie going the whole time while I was doing it. But the two movies, I put down two movies that were guaranteed to make me happy that I've watched a dozen times each. One is really well known, Pretty Woman, with
Which
Julia
I've
Roberts
never seen.
here. I, it just
Yeah.
always makes me happy. I can, if I'm down, if I'm blue, if I'm feeling out of sorts, I can watch that movie, and it's always going to make me feel good by the end. And the other one is one that's not very well known, but it's called I Think I Can. I think I do. I think I can. I
So
think I do.
I think I can. This isn't that Thomas the Train.
No, I think I do.
And speaking of which, if it is Thomas the Train,
There you go. No, I'm sorry. It's called I Think I Do. And it's an older movie. It was a gay love story. It had a great music, and I went through this period where I watched it every day for like 10 days when
Oh,
I was
wow.
sick and seeing it. Every day I'd watch it at least once during the day because it just hit me at the right feel good level.
Mhm.
So
I know. I haven't seen Pretty Woman, Elmer, or that other movie with the leg lamp,
with the what?
Why the leg lamp? What movie
the
is that
leg
from?
lamp in the
Oh,
window, the
Christmas
Christmas
Story.
movie. Yeah,
What
I've
is it?
never seen that
Christmas
either.
Story.
Oh, Christmas Story.
Yeah,
I
it's
barely
like the leg lamp.
remember that one.
I
No.
saw it on stage. I saw a stage version of it before I ever saw the movie. There's a
I
play.
would now see that I would watch.
I
Have
watched.
Have you seen Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Oh, I saw that. That's hilarious.
Patrick
I've
Swayze.
seen that. That's hilarious.
Yep. I almost put down the birdcage,
That's
but
also one I
Oh
can
my
watch
God, that's like a
over and
hundred
over
years
again.
ago.
okay. Loving. How are we doing for time? Okay. Loving. What is the most loving thing you have ever done for somebody else? What is the most loving
There's just a
thing you
lot.
did? I know, but I'm just asking you to come up with one. What comes to your mind? I know
My
you do
favorite,
loving things all the time, huh?
my favorite is the mystery packages that go out to stage 3 and stage 4 um, cancer survivors, patients, and they don't know where it comes from. So I never hear from these people. Sometimes I'll see somebody post on Facebook and they'll say, I received this. Does anybody know where this came from? Or whoever you are, thank you. They never know where it came from. The donors just, give money. I just go buy stuff and just mail out to different people. That's been my favorite over the last 20 years.
And a good favorite it is, and somebody got revenge on you by sending you that bracelet.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, okay, so now this is my turn.
Somebody who got one of those packages somewhere along the way watched this show, and you referred to the fact you did that, and I went ding, 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 and they decided they were going to mystery box you back.
Well, it certainly is a mystery. I mean, it's super beautiful and it has like this etching engraving in the inside it's really beautiful. And yeah, and somebody's like, why don't you just receive it and enjoy it like when you send people stuff? I'm like, oh, shut up.
Oh, shut up. Yep, I get it.
Is
Almer.
Steven Spielberg back? Oh, there he is.
I am back. I had to deal with some receipts. We're having little blue people show up on our production office. Things are disappearing, like originally signed contracts, and so we're like, and then receipts.
Oh, nice.
One walked in and said, "Did you take all the receipts out of this bag?" And I'm like, "No, I handed it to you full." Like,
Oh my God. Oh.
so a little stressful. So the question was the most loving thing that I have
Why do we have two comments that are in a foreign language that I don't understand from people?
They're probably Russian. That's why I ignored them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't speak that language, or even is that language. But yeah,
It looks like it could be. Anyways,
yeah, I'm
the
not
question
sure.
is, what is the most loving thing? What is one of the most loving things you've ever done for someone else? Rain said her sending out the mystery boxes.
That's
what she does.
Yep. That's a good one. I don't know if I can think of one thing. I always try to take care of other people and be as loyal as I can. And I don't like to do the things for recognition. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, look what I did. So I don't know if nothing's popping in my head. I mean, like, even here on this set, even though I'm getting paid for this and it's a big budget, moderately big, they had no stamps, and they were like, well, I don't know if we're going to really use stamps, and I needed a stamp to mail out one of their invoices, and so I went and bought a bunch of stamps, and just like, I'll use them, and for free, and I'll take home what I don't use, or I'm working overtime, without being paid. It's just, I don't know, I go above and beyond. I try to, even not just, this is a work situation, but even my friends, I always, my phone, if I'm not away from it, like in the shower, you text me, I try to respond right away. I try to always be there for all my friends, and always be the person that that if you had something going on, you could, probably reach me if you couldn't reach anybody else, kind of thing. So
I love it.
So when I answered this question, and I thought about it, because I also like to, I do a lot of nurturing, as you've both heard me say, and Rain will experience this summer. I feed people. I feed cats. I feed birds. I feed my husband. I feed anybody that comes into the house. I've been known to run around and feed neighbors. I just feed people. I mean, it's one of the things. But when I thought about this particular one, when my best friend when one of my best friends was dying, I promised her I would be there for her. And we were separated by a whole country when at the very end of her life. Um, and she was staying with her daughter. And I got on the phone and talked her through, and she literally died on the phone with me talking her to cross over.
Wow.
So, you know, I,
Did you tell me this? I know who you're talking about.
yeah,
If it's who I'm thinking about.
yeah, Dara,
Yeah, but I don't remember you telling me this part of it. Or
yeah,
if you, because I don't think I'd forget that story.
Yeah, that's intense.
nope. Her daughter called me and said that, I mean, like I was in constant contact because she was in Portland, Oregon with her daughter, and I was over here in Nashua. And she said that um, I don't know why Ma's hanging on, and and I thought we said all of our goodbyes, and I kept on thinking I had promised her I would be there. She had me make a promise to her that I would be there when she passed, and so I said, put her on the phone, put her phone next to her ear, and let me talk to her. And I told her that everything was okay. I gave her, any permission she needed to leave. I told her jokes. I stayed on the phone, and I was just like, and you can go now. And she died. And a few minutes later, she appeared in spirit form outside my deck window, and kind of smiled and waved and moved on. So yeah, I count that
Wow.
as one of the most loving things. But yeah, I just knew it. I was like, yep, she's just waiting for me to. I promised her that I would look after her child, and who I have officially become her fairy godfather.
I like that because it makes total sense. You should read The Reckoning based on that story.
The Reckoning. Oh, by May Sarton.
Based on that story alone.
Okay. So here's the next question. What have we got for time?
8 minutes.
Okay,
8 minutes.
8 minutes. So I'm going to skip. I am going to skip the middle question, and I'm going to go to the last question because this will probably wrap us up, and we just ended up missing one of each of the questions I wrote. But we can do them in some other time if you guys want, or
That'd be
maybe
great.
I will. Again, there's seriously thing I was keeping some of these handy for some guests to ask.
Yeah, these are great questions.
What one gift would you like to give to our audience tonight that may help them have a better life? What one gift? A gift of a thought, an idea, some place that you may tell them something they have to check out, share something. But what one gift would you like to give to our audience tonight that would help them have a better life? Obviously, if they chose to do
Right.
something with it. But
I
yeah.
think the best advice I can give anyone, which I've been giving this advice for forever, I'm not sure I started taking it until lately. You never say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to your best friend, because at the end of the day, you are your best friend.
Nice. I like that. I like that. I think that that's great advice, and I'm glad that finally you said it enough times that you heard it.
Right. I needed a different messenger. I'm like, I don't even take this advice. What the heck am I talking about?
Elmer, what one gift would you like to give to our audience tonight that may help them have a better life?
Um, just remember to come from a place of love, and that there is love all around us if you look for it, despite what's going on in this world, despite all the hatred and the weaponization of religion towards to further people's hatred and violence and whatnot. But there's still good people. There's still on both sides. There's still love, and we just got to find it and do what we can and persevere and make that great, you know, the love we have for ourselves and our family and the good situations we might be in, to just try to make that for everyone else, you know. Because I don't think either of you know this. This is a faith-based movie on. It's on GCU, Grand Canyon University, which is a religious
University.
university. They, you know, they don't believe in gay marriage, and but the people. But, you know, even though I have my issues with religion, because like I said, I think it's used more often than not to weaponize people's hate. But just the people, you know, there's a lot of love here, there's a lot of fun here, and you know, I think there's that middle ground of where people are, you know, you have different beliefs. I'm an atheist, they're Christians, but we don't use it to weaponize our hatred. You know, no hatred toward each other. We just come in and be like, yeah, you believe it, I don't. But we're here to do a job. Let's have some fun and do it. I think that's what we got to do more often, you know, in life.
Nice.
I love that. Wow.
Being the best you is the greatest gift you give to yourself, to everyone you love and who loves you, and the world. And I think that when people can grab onto me just being the best me, and I can let go of where everybody else wants me to be, what society tells me I should be, what I think, all of this stuff. But you can say, I'm not competing with anybody. Not competing with anybody. I'm just being the best me. And nobody can be a better me than me. So there's no competition. Where's the competition in that? And
Right.
so I really think that when we get to that place that our only real drive is to be our best selves, then I think everybody and I think everybody you touch and every place you go benefits from it.
And I want to add to that being your best self isn't dictated by the people around you in terms of, and I'm sorry if I come back to this, and maybe because it's where I'm at, but, you know, thinking that you have to, you know, you're not gay, someone else is, you're going to have to, you know, to be your best self, they're a threat to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to explain, is just being your best self doesn't have to have anything to do with anybody else, good or bad. So if we remember that, because I think a lot of people think, you know, they're at least in the gay community, you know, some straight people's masculinity is threatened by gay people, and so, you know, it's like, that can't be my best self if, you know, if people think I'm gay, or if, you know, I'm around gay people, or they exist or whatnot. But anyway.
Yep. And that's why I said being your best you, being the best you that you are. Because it doesn't have any difference with anyone else. And I saw this very interesting. I caught a little snippet. I've not seen it before, but it's something that came out on a YouTube channel or something. I stumbled across it. But one of them was, there were 6 guys, and one was gay and 5 were straight, but they were all trying to sell that they were the straight, and they kept voting people off. And if you voted off the gay person, then whoever was left got to split the money. And then they did the reverse, where everybody said they were gay, but one of them was actually straight. And they tried to, like, and they asked each other questions, but it was done in a very, like, empowering way. I mean, like, the whole thing was, there are no stereotypes. You can't really tell who's gay or who's straight. I mean, like, they'd be asking questions, like, you know, and it would be really clear, like, yeah, so I did theater. That does not make me gay. Or, yeah, because I played sports does not make me straight.
Right. Right.
It was this little fascinating thing I just stumbled across that somebody put out.
Wow, look at that. We're down to seconds.
We are,
Yes.
and we have a mystery guest for our next one. We've got a
Yes.
couple of people up flipping the coin. So
Yeah. I'm getting ready
Sir.
to put the gauntlet down on one of them. Like, this
All
is
right.
your date. All right. So I'm going to leave because I feel like I'm going to puke.
Oh,
All right. Sorry about that. I'll play us out then right now. So
Bye, everybody.
you
Thanks for
go.
watching or listening to the Laughing, Loving, and Alive show. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or support us with Buy Me a Coffee. To catch all of the latest from Laughing, Loving, and Alive, you can follow us on Instagram at Laughing, Loving, and Alive, and on Facebook at Laughing, Loving, and Alive. Thanks again, and see you next time.